This is Keyed In with Max and Brent, unlocking the minds of the industry's top real estate professionals. And now, here are your hosts, Max Rabin and Brent Jackson.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Keyed In podcast. I'm Max Rabin.
And I'm Brent Jackson.
We're here today with Shaw and Meredith Mostashari. Shaw and Meredith are developers in DC. And we haven't had a developer yet,
We have not had a developer.
It's our first developers.
Oh, goodness.
So this is really exciting.
Setting the
pressure.
bar high here.
Oh, yeah.
No
There we
pressure,
go.
right? No pressure.
The one viewer went off.
They're like, oh, if it's not another realtor talking about how they do their Instagram, how boring. So I would just say that developers, that's a tough thing actually right now because you guys are. I'm sorry if I'm just like diving right in. Being a developer right now, especially in DC, is really tough. Everything is really expensive. The acquisition for real estate is super expensive in DC. The cost of construction has gone way up over the last couple years.
Way up.
And then you guys have to put out a solid product every time, because if you make a mistake, the reputation
Tanks.
bye-bye.
Absolutely.
And so that's a tough gig.
It is. It is.
But you guys have a great reputation, which is, yes, absolutely. So let's talk about origin story. Let's talk about how long have you guys been in development? How'd you get into development? Tell us a little bit about that.
You want to start, Mary?
Years ago, I lived, I guess, right off the bat, out of college, went straight to work on the Hill, as many people who end up in DC have done. But I lived in Old Town Alexandria and kind of started doing it as a hobby in a sense. It kind of was in my blood. My grandfather did this and my father. So it was kind of started then. But I was like, okay, I've got a knack here. I've got some taste. So I started renovating a home down there and ended up selling. And when we kind of united, we went to high school together, but years later.
You guys went to high school together?
We did.
Isn't that
Oh my
crazy?
God.
Where are you guys
I know.
from again?
North Carolina.
North Carolina.
And so I was like, honey, we can do that. He just looked at me like he's in the finance world. He's like, no, you have fun with that. Basically.
So it was like 2003, 2004. I'll never forget. I had a dark, the very first time we went to a project in DC to take a look at it, it was near RFK Stadium. I think maybe 2004-ish. I have this thick, striped suit on, crisp shirt, tie, and I walk into this like rat-infested, termite-damaged place with holes and this, that. And I'm walking around going, what in the world did Meredith just bring us into?
Did you already purchase the property?
No. We were looking and the guy said, I'll have offers tonight. I said, hold on a second. You're going to have, I mean, I had no idea what the game was about, right? How it was done. Oh, I'll sell it tonight. I'm like, guy, you have holes in the walls. You have holes in the floors. How's this going to be sold tonight? So that was 2004. So then we kind of forayed into our first purchase together was a contract for deed in Northern Virginia, where we bought the property and then we were the lender to someone else. Mm-hmm. And it kind of grew from there, right? To where we got into it somewhat full-time in 2006. And after our first son was born, we just decided, this is something we're going to do full-time.
But you were in finance?
Yes.
Okay.
And it allowed us to kind of balance family and work. As you know, in the world we're in, some weeks it's 80% work and 20% family. Sometimes I'm scratching my head saying, oh goodness, we didn't have a sit down dinner with our kids. We're terrible parents. Yeah. But it ebbs and flows, right?
Well,
and
I think a lot of careers can do that these days.
Yes, for sure. It allowed us though a little more flexibility.
Right.
But again, I feel like every week we're on a gerbil, like many people in these metropolitan areas, on a wheel, just running as fast as we can and keeping up. But what's important is putting out a quality product for us.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't just, let's just do this. It was, if we're going to do this, we're going to do it the right way. Yeah, that's important for us.
Yeah. And I remember Meredith kept saying, we need to do more. We needed, invest in another one. We need to invest in another one. And at that time, she was still working full time. I was working full time, and my office was in New York, so I commuted back and forth.
Wow. Okay.
And I'll never forget, she's holding our oldest, and I'm going onto the plane at National, and I was like, I think we just need to go ahead and take that leap of faith.
Right.
And then when I got back, we sat down, we talked, and we said, let's go ahead and buy 1, 2 at a time, and it kind of grew from there.
So you really been doing this now almost 20 years.
Right, 16 and a half, 17
so
years.
2003 when she first started.
Yeah,
Can you come look at this shell in the
Right.
We could use a lot of other terms for it too.
I'm
Yeah.
glad you mentioned that. We're 39.
Okay.
And
Yeah. Right. Fair enough.
As my friend's relative said, he's 21 with 29 years of experience.
There you go.
So you got in like full time. Was it right at the height of the market?
Yeah,
You mentioned 2006.
Yeah, 2006, and it just tanked.
I worked in
Right.
New York for several years, and the tanking part, I have to say, if you live in New York, you can do anything.
Mhm.
That old saying. Going through the downturn of the economy after we had just kind of gotten into this was an attest to if you do your due diligence, you can come out on the other end.
Sure.
Was it hard? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I think we came out on the other end knowing, hey, this is how we have to continue to do it, and that's buying it right.
Right. Well, let's talk about a little bit about. Okay, so we're talking about acquisition is a tricky thing right now. You guys obviously know a lot of people in the local real estate industry after all these years of being here, so people know to call you, and if they have something that might work for you and your business model. What kind of properties do you guys look for, and what makes something? What makes it? It's going to be a Dogwood restoration property. I don't think we mentioned that they're Dogwood Restoration is the name of your company. I don't think we mentioned that at the top. But what makes that, like, of course, value and price is correct too. It's got to make sense money wise.
Right.
But what gets you guys going? What kind of properties do you like the most?
The
If you
ugliest
gave-
ones.
Yeah, but
Destroyed.
Yeah, especially on the inside, but on the outside, we had an amazing agent call us a couple weeks ago, maybe about a month ago or so, right?
Mm-hmm.
Went and saw this house from the exterior, was beautiful. Interior was beautiful too, right? So the guy's actually sitting right next to us, but it needed a little bit of love. It needed an overhaul, right? So we jumped on the opportunity. The numbers made sense from that standpoint. That's the most important thing. But then you look at it, amazing location,
Right.
amazing bones in the house, great yard, and we just jumped on it. If you gave Meredith the opportunity, she would try to buy every single deal that came our way,
Mm-hmm.
right? But
That made sense.
Yeah,
And
that made sense.
we've been in properties where we're 3 feet deep in clothes
Yeah.
and other things, and you've seen them.
Mm-hmm.
And we've also been in elegant, beautiful ones, like we blew through recently to you. And it's just, some need a lot of love, and some just need some aesthetically. We obviously bring most of these homes down to the studs, and but we do try to maintain the authenticity and for example, stained glass windows. You will not see me taking those out of these homes. And if they have some other amazing historical features, I want to keep those. That's really important for us.
That's one thing that I've noticed with your product versus we see a lot of flipped houses and a lot of houses, and we see a lot of really bad ones. But what you guys do is you try to maintain the history of the home and use materials that would complement the original style of the home, especially when you're working with these historic houses that are early 1900s, late 1800s. Some of these developers will go in there and they're looking to make the money and get out of it. They're putting in like vinyl or just really random materials, stuff that just doesn't fit the style. You guys do not do that.
We never wanted to put lipstick on a pig.
Right.
It's just not. I don't want. DC is very small, and we started out in Maryland and Virginia. And then we crept into DC just by happenstance. And we have to deal with DCRA. We cross our T's and dot our I's, because if we don't, like you said at the beginning of this, what are we at the end of the day? We have to have a quality product. We didn't go into this to do put lipstick on a pig.
Yeah.
That's not.
We got
That's
two
not.
kids we got to support. So
Yeah.
this is our full-time job.
Yeah.
And our
Longevity is everything, as you mentioned.
Longevity.
It's a very small world. And if you're going to be doing this for another 10, 20, 30 years,
yes.
Regardless of the agents, it's the buyers that are talking about their friends. Like, this is a great property, or that developer is not good.
Absolutely. No,
That goes a lot further.
you're so right. Over the last few days, we've actually gotten calls from other realtors where they've seen our product, they've seen the homes, and they're going through one today. And then after we finish with your show, I'm going to contact them. We're going to walk through another home as well. So I asked them, I said, how did you learn about us? Well, another agent in our office had a client that bought a home from you, and they love it.
Mm-hmm.
So, like you said, I mean, it's very similar lines of business, right? I mean, we're all in real estate,
Right.
but it's all about the word of mouth. It's all about the reputation. It's all about how you treat your clients.
And standing behind our product. You can't tell you how many times we've had phone calls. Renters who became buyers, but mentally thought they were still renters. And they would call us if they had an issue.
Right.
Well, you can't flush paper towels down your toilet. And so we would have our guys go and fix the problem. Like, whether it was our issue or theirs, if we had a mishap with it, let us,
Yeah.
we're going to stand. Nothing's ever going to be perfect.
Right.
Yeah, especially
But if you've got a problem,
Yeah.
give us a
We're
call.
Yeah, your customers are like, you're taking care of them.
absolutely.
It's not like, okay, the settlement's over, please don't call us.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I know, because you guys worked with a client of mine
Right.
before who purchased one of your renovated homes. And yeah, I mean, I'm not saying he had issues, but he definitely had plenty of questions for you, and needed other help with things at the house, and you guys have been there for him. So that's like
right.
very important thing, especially like Brent was saying, in a community like this where everyone knows everyone. That's reputation's huge. So
Absolutely.
Reputation's huge. And I'll tell you what we've done over the course of time, obviously, is come up with a more, streamlined warranty
mm-hmm.
process where we do, again, it's another stamp. It's another way that we stand behind what we've done. And hopefully that gives people a little bit more of a peace of mind as well to go into a home that's done by Dogwood Restoration.
And it's important to, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Okay. I was going to say, circling back a little bit to the where you guys find the deals. Do you guys look on the MLS? I mean, like, if an agent that's listening calls you guys with something that they saw on MLS, I know some developers, they have their license and it's like, don't even bother with this. It's overpriced. I mean, are you guys looking at anything online or just offline?
Sure. I mean, both offline, online. We've purchased, I'd say, of our last number of purchases recently, maybe half or 60% have come from the MLS.
Okay.
As long as we can buy it right.
Sure.
And it's in those locations that make sense, right? You have amenities close by, or it's walkable, or you got a great school that's close by, then we'll look at any project. And
I'll try to uncover some too on my own, but oftentimes the relationships we've built with agents, they'll reach out to us, and I'll be honest, I haven't seen that. You get the back end,
Right.
front end as well. So that's been really important for us over time for these relationships, and we've learned a lot from our agents. It's been important for us to sit across pre-pandemic the closing table and say, what do you like about this property? And tell me what you dislike about the property.
Mm-hmm.
It's a learning experience. And agents, you guys have been really forthright and transparent on, hey, think about doing this.
absolutely.
Feedback is crucial for us.
And the collaboration, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, we work with a lot of very
Talented
agents, right? Like yourselves, and you had Tyler and Robert on recently, Jeff and Andrew from your office, and Beth Hughes over at Compass. So a lot. But I think one of the things for us is when we buy a house, and we've promised the agent also, hey, you're going to have that listing. There have been many times that we've pre-sold those homes,
Mm-hmm.
right? And we've called those agents, okay, listen, we've pre-sold the house. I need to have you involved. And I'll never forget the very first time that we did it was in Petworth with a gentleman that didn't speak really that good English.
Mm-hmm.
So I was happy that we pre-sold it. But he called me. He called us and said, hold on a second, you sold it. I just was in there. It was at demo. I'm like, yeah, but it's pre-sold. Wow, you're still going to include me in the sales? Yes, because we gave you our word, right? And that kind of goes back to, if you want to be in this business long enough, it's not about one deal.
Yeah.
It's about years and years and years built up.
Well, that's, that goes to what the reputation and those kinds of things goes to one of the reasons when I had that property that I wanted to bring to you, is because I know that you're loyal like that, and I hadn't worked with you on that side before, so I was working for the seller in that case.
Right.
So I had duties to him,
Yes.
and so I had to make sure I was like, if I'm going to bring this to someone who's a developer, I need to make sure it's someone who I trust and who will close. And it's like, if I get the sale on the other side, that's great.
Yeah.
But it's like, I assume I will, right? But
I don't know.
I assume I will.
We're gonna start marketing that neighborhood.
Yeah. Great. Yeah, if you get a postcard from him, just ignore it.
We have a buyer.
Anyway,
Okay.
I'm sure he has a buyer. He can just call me. Right? But no, anyway, no, it's like the key is that on the acquisition part is that if an agent comes to you with an acquisition idea for you, is that they know they can count on you to close on time. There's going to be no BS.
Absolutely.
And, whether they're working for the seller or they're kind of operating sort of in limbo there, it has to be smooth, because if you mess up on the acquisition side with an agent, they're like, they're not going to call again. They're going to call the next guy. There's plenty of other people to call.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah.
There
For
always
sure.
is, especially in this business, right?
It's very tricky.
On our side, there's so many different people you can call. So getting those calls and having those relationships for us is the reason why we've been able to last as long as we have right now.
And to your point, when we first started kind of dipping our big toe in the DC market, that was our thing, was if you want to get to the closing table, work with us. We're not a fly-by-night company. This is not something that we're just hanging around to do for a few months. We're hanging our hat here, So that was, to your point, a very, very valid point.
Do you guys have other partners like architects or interior designers? Do you guys have your own inside general contractors? Or
Yes, we do. I mean, we try to keep it pretty lean for the most part. I mean, a lot of the interior design, a lot of the features that you see in the houses, those are Meredith's ideas, right? So when we go
Got a
through
good
a
design
house,
Thank
absolutely.
you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, so when we go through a home, she says, okay, this is the way I want it to look. And I don't want all of our homes to look the same. So that makes it a little bit difficult, because then you got to time things, and especially in this environment, you've got to time
You think
it
lighting's
much
going to come
further
in?
out.
Oh, and then there's a 5-week. That's just when you're scratching your head saying, oh, goodness, what are we going to do? Because there's a certain piece of lighting that goes here that will actually correlate with that, and it tells a story throughout the house. And then you're not going to get that. But I know.
And then she's like, I don't want to see this tile again. Okay, well, what tile do you want to see?
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
I just
Make some
grow
choices.
certain things grow old. They grow old quickly, and I'm like, we can't do that again. No.
I know, I can imagine that too, because if you put out the same product every time, if you are interested in design at all, it's going to get exhausting to you as the person who's putting it together. So you have to find new things to do.
And you want to appeal. We want to appeal to something that's not. I don't want to just be trendy. I want something that's going to last.
Right.
The duration.
and the other thing
Love
she doesn't
marble.
want, she doesn't want, if we have this house that we sold last year, and then we have the house next door or 2 doors down or across the street, she doesn't want them to look the same for the most part, right?
Mhm.
He gets so upset at me because I love putting the steel doors in.
Mm-hmm.
And
those take a
I
long
can
time.
see the calculator in his head every time we have to put the steel doors here. They're just so great. But certain things make him.
Yeah, so tell
Make
me
his
at
head spin.
closing when we're buying the property and not after we've already framed everything and the drywall's up.
Right.
No.
Because then
Get it in early.
Yeah, absolutely. Because then the doors take 12 to 14 weeks, and by that time we're long finished.
So, which brings me to another question. So we had, wait, let me think about who did we? I can't remember. I can't remember who we had on, but I'm just saying.
Tyler
Oh,
and
I know
Robert?
who it was. It was Koki, because Koki works
Koki.
with his wife. On
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Oh,
Yes,
yes.
yes.
So you guys, the husband
love
and wife
Koki.
team. Yeah, I'm just saying, husband and wife team, right? In this kind of business, there's a lot of headaches in development and renovations and management. How do you guys separate the powers so that it doesn't become insane.
We
or
take two
intense?
separate cars sometimes.
Okay.
There's no separation of powers.
Okay.
Right? The power is a
Oftentimes,
totalitarian government,
Mhm.
and the power lies with one person.
Okay.
Okay.
Right? And I
Whether-
think I know what you're getting.
Okay.
Whether it's at home or it's in the car
Okay,
ride
nice.
to business. No, I mean, I think being a husband and wife team actually gives some. It makes it easier, right? Because we are all on the same page, not only at home in the way that we're raising the children and running the household, but also in business. Because unfortunately, if you've got a 9-to-5 job and you've got other people that are kind of doing the same tasks, you guys might not be on the same page all the time because there might be some jealousy here and, oh my gosh, that person got this promotion and that raise. Well, that's none of that with us, right? But I
It's
know
interesting, actually.
I have to listen
Yeah.
and do as she says for the most part. Because
Oh.
then home life and business life, it's fantastic. Then.
Happy wife, happy life.
Absolutely.
I think he learned that early on. It just rolls right off his tongue.
I can say it. I don't necessarily, practice it. Right.
Exactly. So what happy life for me is also a happy boss. So
No, I think it's a yin and yang. I think it's so many components come into play, and I'm grateful every day that we are able to do something that we truly love.
absolutely.
And thank you
Love
for
what you do.
having us here today to talk about it's a passion. Years ago, I didn't watch Oprah Winfrey, but I heard her on a blurb like 2020. She said, "Do what you love." And that's when I was struggling to find something that I was really passionate about.
Mhm.
And then when we got into this, I was like, wow, this is something that I really love. And he does too. So I'm grateful that we can get up every day and do that and raise our kids and show them work ethic. And when I was on the Hill, the gentleman I worked for, he had incredible work ethic. He worked closely with Tip O'Neill to bring C-SPAN down to the House floor.
Mhm.
Very instrumental in that. And I looked up to him and what he stood for and what he brought to the table. And my father always said, be the first one there and the last one to leave. We're at projects every week. We don't just roll in
Let
and
them be.
let them be. That's important to be there, to be present, just like raising kids, being present. We have to be present on these projects. I don't want a phone call later on. Oh, this went wrong. Where were you? Your guys say you weren't there. No, we have to be there.
So I'm measuring how you guys are successful in terms of it's about your relationship building in the community and with agents and with your customers. It's about paying attention to detail, more to the nuts and bolts of how the business is now. After the last couple of years, prices have escalated a lot, both the acquisition, also to your favor, obviously.
Right.
Buyers are really homed in on getting a finished product right now. They really want that turnkey product. So that makes your product much more valuable at this point in time.
Mm-hmm.
But also the cost of supplies and materials has gone up. How have you managed that and weathered that over the last couple of years, to make sure you maintain your margins? What are you guys doing to deal with this?
Great point. It's gone up 300% on lumber, which is insanity.
Right. It almost doesn't make sense. Or maybe it does somewhere. I don't know.
I think obviously it's eaten into the margins.
Yeah.
Right. But then as the price of our acquisitions have gone up a little bit and the price of the materials have gone up, thank goodness that on the back end, the market has escalated it as well to a point where it still makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And that's been for us the saving grace, because as prices on our front end have shot up, frankly.
Yeah.
If the back end sale had not gone up as well, almost in line, then
it's like the inflation is a little related there.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Also, but you guys focus mainly on single family homes.
Single families.
Right. So in DC, that's a little more. It's a little quicker for you guys to run on permits too. I have some condo developer guys who they're not as interested suddenly in dealing with the permitting and
it's a nightmare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see every gray almost in his head. that's DCRA right there. Nothing against DCRA, but it just
you could dye them.
I know.
You have to show them you've been there before.
I got to show the aging, right? And the wear and tear on the tires. That's important.
They're like, this guy's not green.
So diving a little bit into the numbers, do you guys have like a formula for your price per square foot to build?
I mean, I think doing what we've finished over 200 homes over the number of years. So because we're not going ground up, we have an idea. All right, if we have this,
we've gone
box,
ground up on a few, but mostly not.
Yeah. So if we have this box, we anticipate to be in at X price. Right. I mean, there might be some fluctuation there, give or take maybe 5, 6, 7%. But as long as we have those numbers, we know we're going to do all new framing, right? We know we're going to do a new roof. We know we're going to do new windows. So everything is going to be new on the inside. Mm-hmm. Then we look at, okay, what's that outsell price going to be? So from a price per square foot standpoint, we have an idea of what it's going to cost us for that house in the first place to allow us to say whether we can jump on that deal or not.
To make sense out of it, where it's going to pay
Absolutely.
you, I guess, in sum, right? Yeah,
absolutely. Because the price per square foot for us, it really is not going to fluctuate all that much. Because all right, if I have a 16 by 40 foot home and it's 3 levels, and then if I got a 20 by 20 or 20 by 25, we're like, all right, it's going to take us maybe a little bit more to do that, and that's the way we've always been able to do our numbers.
Someone told me once, and we just experienced it ourselves, but we were in the higher end, but we were $400 a square foot to build, house we just finished. But some of the other developers have told us their costs have increased about 20% across the board. So if they were building at $150 a square foot, now they're closer to $200 a square foot.
Absolutely.
And a lot of that's because of inflation, like all the materials coming in.
I think that's a conservative number as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because then you've got to look at it. You've got the cost of goods, but also your cost to carry. Mm-hmm. Because the goods are taking so much longer to get to you, then your carrying costs are up a little bit as well.
Yeah, we have a project coming up in Bethesda. The developer, it's a new build, ground up new build, and the project began as like he wanted to sell it off market pre-construction, and we took some calls on it, and like Zoom calls with some various buyers, and nothing stuck. The price of the house has now gone up 25 or 30% from when these people they should have just bought it, right? But it's so he's like, well, I'm glad that we didn't sell it then.
Right, absolutely.
But so now we're like, well, let's finish out this package. Let's put some more higher end stuff in here and make sure we really max this place out. He cannot even get the appliances he's looking for right now to put in this house.
That's the problem.
It's like, it's bizarre.
It really is. I mean, you're looking at Sub-Zeros and those types of appliance packages taking just months and months and months.
Yeah, it took us 6 months to get ours.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
You guys have a national salesperson you guys work with? Whether it's windows, doors,
we do.
Appliances?
And the window thing for us changes this because we were putting Pella in a lot of houses, and then Pella went from being able to provide you, and they do great windows. So if Pella is watching, 6, 7, 8, 9 weeks to now 16, 17 week lead time.
Oh, okay.
Right. It's just, it's absurd. And then, Marvin windows, we've put in some houses. What did we just put into U Street that's coming on the market?
It's on as of today.
Yeah, I think it might have been Marvin windows as well. But obviously, those windows we have to get approval from historic preservation office now.
Which I think a lot of people don't want to touch historic, but
well, you're working in neighborhoods that have that historic overlay, so it's going to be
absolutely. Yeah. But some people won't touch it with a 10-foot pole.
Right, I know.
Will the shortage, the supply shortage, decide some of your finished packages? Like instead of a Viking or a Wolf, you might do a Melee or a GE profile, or instead of a Marvin, you do a.
Absolutely. As long as the quality's there,
that's what's
then
important.
That's going to impact where we buy it from. Okay, well, if I have gelled win or if I have Pella, and Pella's right now 16, 17 weeks, but we can get gelled win within 11 to 12 weeks, then we'll go with the gelled win.
Yeah, and I'm not disparaging any would-be buyers, but we know the differences with some of these things, but the buyer's demand right now is so high that it's like, whether they're like, oh, we didn't get the Wolf range that we were hoping for in this new house that we were like dying to buy. There's no choice right now. you can either buy the house with the GE Profile appliance package,
Right.
or wait till 2023 when some of these appliances actually show up.
That's where we're at.
You know,
And interest rates have gone up, and the prices of that house have gone up,
Yeah.
as opposed to jumping in right now and maybe switching
making a
it over.
purchase. Right. I know.
Yeah, exactly. But we've done that. I think, for us, we had a home in Bloomingdale a number of years ago off of First Street where everything was in.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had a buyer that came right before we went to market, and they said, well, can we flip some stuff out? And this is before we had any issues with the shortages on. And they wanted to go Sub-Zero. They wanted to go Wolf. So we obviously priced that within the final sale price. But we swapped them out, switched them, and they were extremely happy.
Do you guys ever do like custom homes? Like somebody will find the project and then you guys outfit it?
No.
Not that. No.
I think, the way we look at it is this. We've got at any one point in time between 12 and 14 projects ongoing.
It's pretty busy.
And that's just ours. So if we try to work for, let's say, the public at large, it would just stretch our bandwidth so thin.
Yeah, those can be the toughest ones.
Exactly, because we have to spend a lot more time on that customization and with that client to make sure that they're 100% happy.
Having said that, after we purchase one, if an agent brings their client and they're interested in Mount Pleasant, let's say, and they see that we're building one, they blow in, hey, no problem. You want to pick out your cabinets, your cabinet color, whatever you would like to put on your countertops, things of that nature. For sure, we'll customize.
You're just not doing like a design build project for like a homeowner that's
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
we've starred in that movie. We've done it a few times.
Yeah.
It's just, it was really, we would have them change their mind several times just on paint colors. And it was just it was a lot
of work. But from a semi-customization standpoint, we do that we used to do it a lot more. And then now we want to bring the product to market, right?
Yeah.
With the low inventory that we've had, agents such as yourselves would tell us, hey, right now, unless you get X now, let's go to market because we might be able to get Z.
Right.
And we've kind of jumped on that. But, kind of to Meredith's point and what you were saying, Brent, from a customization standpoint, one of the first guys that we dove in with where we showed a property, it was in Petworth, off of Sherman Circle, was Koki's client.
Yeah.
And his client came in. We had just bought the place, hadn't even started demo, no permits in hand. And they said, we want to buy it. And, we had just met Koki. This is like maybe 10 years ago or so. And we customized that house to their tastes. We said, okay, these are the packages, and these are the packages that we're going to have you choose from, so as to not slow down our process. And oh my gosh, the home turned out beautifully.
That's good.
Where do you guys turn to for latest trends?
Okay, so I can answer that so many ways. Whenever we're able to carve out a little bit of time to travel, wherever we go, I just look around like, oh God, that powder room was so awesome.
She's like,
I will be in there taking photographs of a powder room. They're like, where have you been, Mom?
And we're sitting at the dinner table
great.
waiting for her, and all of a sudden, my phone's buzzing, and I'm like, who's calling me right now? It's Meredith sending me pictures of the powder room or the bathroom. That
the tiles, or that's definitely one place.
But then you have a passion for those kinds of things. That's good. That's good that you're in the right line of work.
So it's bordering on weird because
I've done.
They're taking photos in a bathroom. That's
I'm guilty as well. Don't worry.
Hey, listen, at least it's stuff like tiles and stuff like that, and it doesn't get to the very weird part of taking pictures of others.
I found myself edging into like kitchens where they're cooking. I'm like, oh gosh, this is. I'm gonna get taken out of here with cuffs on. Just various different places, like in different cities and magazines. Not so much magazines. I don't have that much. I would love to do that more. But really just walking around, looking at different, whether I'm in DC, different restaurants, or mostly travel when we are able to do that. I'll do that.
That's good.
So
Restaurants are really good to.
They are.
Absolutely.
They're always on the
trend.
on the cutting edge of what's new and hot.
At
Exactly.
least
Love
for like
that.
first 6 months until no one wants to. It's like then they're gone.
Like, where's that place?
Yeah,
Where was that we ate that we loved that?
we ate it
You know.
once and it's gone.
Yeah.
Oh well.
And the build
Tough
out, what they
business.
spend on build out these restaurants
Mhm.
is insanity. Like
Yeah.
truly. But they really, I feel like a lot of times most of them have timeless look that will transcend, which is nice.
So, being in the development world, what we do a lot on our show is we talk about realtors, and if there was a young realtor coming to them for advice, what would you tell them for someone who wants to get into development, right? Or someone who's already in another industry, like you guys were before you started development. Someone's like, I want to get into this too. I want to buy houses, renovate them, do resales, and build this portfolio of business. What are the steps? Like, give us like a top 3 or something of like, how do you even begin that? Like, you obviously need financial relationships. You're going to need vendor relationships.
Right.
It's a lot of work to start from the ground up.
And you have to have expert brokers and agents.
Well, you have to have those
That's
relationships
where,
too.
because that's where a lot of that knowledge is going to come from. When we decided to do this years and years ago,
We lucked out
Yeah.
jumping right in with partners.
yeah,
Lucky.
Well, can I say though that your first like foray was you were looking at stuff in Kingman Park area in 2003, and you were getting into things in 05, 06. That was still a pretty special time in real estate in this city, and I think in a lot of cities where it's like that tipping point. Before it was way too saturated, way too competitive,
Mhm.
and then you had the financial downturn with which weeded a lot of people out who were BSing, right?
Absolutely.
And so if you were still there, you were like the survivors, and you already had the
Yeah.
experience, and
Right.
you could continue on with this type of career, whether it was being an agent or being a developer. But yeah, so today with high acquisition prices, how do you even begin to do this right now if you're young and want to be there?
I think and I'm not sure if I'm going to answer your question the way that you posed it, but
Okay.
for us, it's about you got to be who you are and do you, right? But the most important thing is you can't cut corners, right?
Yeah.
If you go into a place and you're looking at it and you just can't cut corners, spend that extra couple $1,000, $5,000 to not cut the corner, because that's going to save your headaches in the long run.
Nowadays, it's a lot more than that.
Well,
but
right.
don't cut corners. Be transparent.
Yeah.
Stand behind. When you give your word, give your word. And,
build the product that you could live in.
and that's what I
Exactly.
always
That's a great
say.
point.
That's I
Yes.
appreciate. We always say when we go into these homes, I'm envisioning what I would want if I'm going to spend X.
Yeah.
And
You're like, what I spend this to. Yeah.
absolutely. And I'll get on him like, you can't. No, not that he's cutting a corner, but he like I saw paint in a drawer of a really nice restoration hardware vanity we had recently.
And
One of the
that's
guys
nice.
accidentally, I love our guys, they accidentally dropped some paint.
Okay.
And he walked right by and he didn't open the drawer and check it. And I'm like, no.
She's right.
You have to
She's
check
right,
before
right.
these go.
Yeah.
It takes a little bit of paint remover, just a little things though. Like, sorry, I went off on a tangent here,
No,
but
No, that's
No,
legit
no.
because from our standpoint, we're representing a buyer coming in to buy the product, and they've been waiting. They're like, okay, it's finally ready for a final walkthrough. That is the worst feeling for a buyer who's spending a lot of money,
Right.
and then their agent who's been dealing with their nerves and everything to walk in and see little mistakes like that. I mean,
we have to put it under a microscope going forward, and we've
That's
had to do
smart.
that because
And frankly, I like her microscope better than mine. So,
because I want to. If I'm going to pay that, I want to make sure that it's perfect or next to
it
it.
means a lot.
There's a lot of developers out there on the listing side, for whatever reason, they've spent a lot of money and time, making this a great project. But then it's like that last 5%. They're like, rush it onto the market, get the photos, let's get it on the market now. And we're like, do the right things. Like, just do the little bit
little
of
stuff.
cleanup, the little stuff.
yeah.
There are like pieces of molding missing and like grout and stuff. They're etched into my brain forever from walkthroughs. I'm sorry. I just have to not from your guys' problem. I'm just saying, but just like
No.
from doing this for so many years.
Yes.
And it's just, it's like, God, why is that not done? Why is that not done? It is the worst feeling.
It's a terrible feeling. It is.
It is that last like 2%.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
Yesterday we were on a site actually, and I was having heart palpitations because I walked out and there's a hole in the cement, and all of a sudden the railing guys are coming to install.
It's like, what's this hole in the cement for? I'm like, just
Hold on.
stay the course.
Because I'd been through it and through it. And I'm like, okay.
This hole
And
wasn't
then
here yesterday.
This hole wasn't here, and they just put the hole there, and I'm thinking, what's going on in the hole? And then I realized the railings were going in, but it was, something. And sometimes guys or installers will come behind me. I mean, we are not too good for anything. I was over the other day cleaning, mopping behind, but after it's been, and Shaw, same thing, picking up trash out front. Like we have to do these things because agents are going to blow through there and be like,
Yep.
what the heck has gone on here? Because our installers will sometimes leave a mess and it makes me crazy, but I have to go behind each time and make sure we do, and that that it looks 100%, or else we're going to get a call.
We were sent some pictures yesterday of this rooftop deck. It was pristine. It was fantastic. And then the railing guys were up there installing the new rails.
I'll show you the picture after. It looked like,
And the next thing you know,
the top of
it
the
was
roof went off.
disheveled, and she saw
A
the
bomb went
picture.
off.
Oh, wow.
Oh my gosh. We drove right to the place, and by the time we got there, the railing was in.
Yeah.
And they actually put it back properly.
There was like 1,000 bits and pieces on that rooftop deck.
Oh my God.
And it was perfection the day before. So I was like, please.
She had hard conversations.
Because we had to go back and touch up paint where they'd been. I mean, and do all sorts of things. So it was.
You're giving me flashbacks to other things too when you say this. I mean,
I can see your head,
real
really.
estate 101. It's like, what happened? Like,
Yes.
why was this redone? Stop it. Stop.
Right.
Yeah, I know.
Exactly.
I know that is like the stress of the kind of business you're in. I mean, there's plenty of stress, but
Right.
those little last details when you're just trying to either get it on the market or get to a walkthrough, get to settlement. That's where I think we make our money, sort of, right?
Oh my gosh.
That's like the
you're
anxiety, right?
Right.
So
Yes.
yeah, I feel that.
You know,
For sure.
the 80% of putting it up and taking it to market, but then that last 20% that gets you across the finish line,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's always the most stressful,
And the most important.
the most
The
important.
most important.
Yeah, absolutely. Because for instance, when we did the transaction on S Street with your client,
Mhm.
the gentleman was demanding,
Mhm.
and rightfully so. He spent a lot of money on the house,
Sure.
so there was a lot of things that we had to make sure the I's were dotted and T's were crossed. And after the walkthrough, before settlement, we had to go back. I mean, is it frustrating? It is, but you got to do it though.
Yeah,
you got to do it to make your buyer happy.
Well, and now he is an advocate for you guys, and
Thank God.
all
Have you
good.
guys been approached by a TV show? Just curious. Like Bravo or HGTV?
Someone mentioned from Sotheby's to us about doing something, and we were like, you know what? We just kind of stay under the radar and do blinders. Like people tried really hard or asked us to get into these big condos, and I want to stay in our lane because it works. If it's not broken, don't fix it.
Listen, I want to be able to go and watch your big basketball, and you love Air Jordans, and our son plays for Team Mello, so Jordan backed.
Yeah.
Is that in
brand.
Baltimore?
Yes, Baltimore. Every time it's Baltimore.
But it's Nike,
But-
and we love Nike because
So we want to.
They're really good to
We
us.
want to be able to go and spend a weekend in
Yeah.
Louisville or
Yeah.
Orlando or North Augusta, Georgia, to watch some basketball games. So doing all the ancillary stuff takes our focus away from what we truly want.
It's
to do.
all the time away. The time would be
Yeah.
gone.
It
So if
does.
you want to spend time with your family, I get it too. And I mean, I don't even know if I'm as busy as you guys, but now that I live with my girlfriend and her 2 kids, it's like,
Ooh.
but you come home and there's still more to do, and someone needs help with homework. Someone's got to go to a karate
Right.
lesson.
Right.
Those are the real things. I mean,
To be
that's really
present
honestly
for.
what's important,
Absolutely.
right? That's why that's the whole point. You're doing it.
That's right.
So
I tell people I'm a professional Uber driver starting at 3, from basketball, tennis, dance, gymnastics.
what I
Absolutely.
like is that when we're on calls, like to talk about our scheduling, you're like, listen, I have a hard out at that time to take my son to a tennis lesson. I'm like, goddamn right. You know?
There is no doubt about it. If I want to go and watch a basketball game at Flint Hill or Gonzaga or wherever it is when Moray's playing, I want to be there.
Yeah.
We want to be present. We want to not only be present in the business that we're running, but also, hey, if our other kids playing basketball or Bella's doing a horseback riding and Alexander's playing it wherever, we want to be there.
Yeah.
So
How old is your son?
Our oldest is a
just
sophomore
turns,
at Moray. The next guy is 13, and then Isabella is 11.
Isabella, that's my daughter's name.
Oh, really? Do you call her Bella?
My wife calls her Bella. I call her Isabella or Izzy.
Yeah.
I tried Izzy. My daughter looked at me, shot me a look, and said, "If you do that one more time, there's going to be trouble."
Our oldest, his name is Alexander.
I like Izzy though.
We still call him Alexander, but if you go anywhere else, it's Alex.
Coaches are
We're
yelling,
like,
"Alex!" And I'm like,
we're
"No,
like,
it's
no,
Alexander."
it's Alexander. And they'll
We're
ask us,
cool with it.
"Would you like for him to be called Alex or Alexander?" We're like, Alexander. Hey, Alex. Then why'd you ask?
Right.
But it's okay.
It's all good.
Well, we got to wind it up here. And so now we go to our segment where we just do some rapid fire questions. These are just some personal, easy questions that we like to do with all of our guests.
Personal and easy. Okay.
Personal,
and
not
easy.
too personal.
Okay.
Not too weird yet.
But yeah, I'm not going to go there.
Yeah, but Brent, take it away.
What is your guilty pleasure?
Dark chocolate for
For
you.
sure. Yeah, that's mine.
A little bit of the rum that we brought.
Okay.
A little bit of
You have to try it. It's really good.
Well, I don't drink, so if you, sorry. No, it's okay.
Okay.
Listen, I was just in Puerto Rico for a week, and this is the first time I've been back to Puerto Rico without drinking, and I was like, oh my God, rum was like my existence here. I mean, it's like,
right.
It's like Bacardi heaven. So
Exactly.
I still had fun in Puerto Rico without rum.
That's
So,
all that matters.
Yeah.
What is your favorite vacation spot?
St. Bart's.
Absolutely.
That's where the rum
St.
came from.
Bart's.
That's where the room.
Yes.
How many times have you been there?
Jeez. 20 times?
Damn.
We were just down there with almost 15 people, and we had so much fun
That's awesome.
for our birthday. And it was just a lot of fun to get people, expose them to what we love.
For
And-
29 years of experience.
Right. That's right.
It's just clear waters and turtles swimming around, and you can put your brain in neutral.
Yeah.
Because here, as you know, the stress level is,
Goes right back.
But you can lose your wallet and they'll give it back to you with everything in it.
yeah, it's super
Really?
safe. You guys
Nobody
should-
wants my $10 in the
Oh,
wallet when
okay.
I go there, So
Okay.
We'll recommend every place you should see.
I will hit you up.
Where the locals go and everything.
You
It's
bet.
awesome.
I'm going to
sorry.
expect that call or email.
You got it.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Favorite restaurant in DC? Your go-to spot?
I have a few.
We have a few sponsors too that are listening.
Oh my God.
Make sure you name each one of them.
One of the places that Meredith and I started going to when we first got engaged, or before that when we were dating, was Cafe Milano. And that's still a go-to spot, right?
Classic.
Lay Diplomat. If you're talking about like high-end, like we take friends or colleagues out, we'll go there.
Mm-hmm.
And then we just like hitting the smaller places when we're able to, that aren't such a big name, the little neighborhoody places that someone recommends. They don't
Sure.
have to be all, the
I'm
4 or
with
5
you.
Michelin star or anything.
Yeah.
There's the best places
Yeah.
sometimes.
Nearby.
Outside of work and little ones, what are your hobbies? If you have time for any.
I mean, we do enjoy traveling, whether it's the two of us or we bring
It's
the
mostly
kids every now and
family
then.
travel. We love being with the kids. You hit the nail on the head, really.
I love
Trying new
visiting.
restaurants.
Yeah,
It's
trying
a
new restaurants.
huge passion in the DC area
Mhm.
because you have such. I mean, I know you guys have been deep in the DC, arena for a while, so you've seen it evolve.
Mhm.
You have seen so much come and go, and now I just think that there's so. Living in New York, it was. You walked up the street and you had everything at your
Yeah.
fingertips, and I feel like.
DC's
DC is really getting there in terms of hotels, restaurants, places, walkability.
Yeah.
Is what I'm looking for to say. And it's become such a neat and vibrant place to be, to the point where you have a lot of empty nesters moving into the city,
Oh yeah.
which is awesome. They're moving to Georgetown or they're moving to, Capitol Hill or wherever, and it's really good to see that.
I just met a couple they were moving from Michigan. Like I think they found me on TikTok and they wanted to meet me. I was like, sure. They came to my office and they're just like, well, our kids are grown up and we just decided we wanted to move to DC. And it's like, okay.
Because of you.
Yeah.
Something that you've done on TikTok. His dance moves on TikTok, I guess.
No, actually, I have a lot of folks in that age group where their kids send them my TikToks. I'm not kidding. And that's just a funny thing.
You're ahead.
Awesome.
But it's a cultural mecca, right? A culture mecca. And I do believe that it has so much to offer.
Yeah.
And we're trying to like on Insta highlight more restaurants, more things that we do with our kids, whether it be the Van Gogh experience or the things that are going on in the city. I want to start highlighting those so people, are aware and know what restaurants are around our projects that we're
for sure.
where we're working on, just to highlight those places. Hey, these restaurants have been hit by the pandemic. They need. I think
patrons.
it's important. They need.
No doubt.
They have to get these patrons in there. So.
Last question. Any predictions for 22 in the real estate market?
Oh my gosh. You guys are the experts on
I
that.
wish we all had a crystal ball. That's all I'll say to that.
Yeah, we were
take
speaking
all the fun out of it.
Yeah, we were speaking with the money manager the other day, and he was talking about how the Fed's going to release trillions and trillions of dollars back into the market. But interest rates are going to go up, obviously, but our inventory is negligible. So, and we have people that are looking right
during the Carter administration. Okay, a long time ago, wasn't interest rates 15, 16, 17%?
Right.
And homes were still trading at the clip that they're doing now, not so much. But they were still trading.
Sure,
if you were expanding your family or whatever your reasons were, job transfer, homes were trading.
Mm-hmm.
I can't sit there and just live in fear all the time.
Yeah,
we have to just keep moving.
Obviously, I don't think that we're going to have the escalation in price appreciation that we've seen over the last couple of years. It's not sustainable,
not possible.
Right?
No.
I think it's going to click up in a more normal way, but we're still going to have buyers. You're still going to have clients. We're still going to have clients because there's a month of inventory, if that.
Well, look, here's my prediction. For single-family homes that are beautifully renovated, no problem. So what you guys are doing, that you're in the right business for this city for, I think, as long as we're going to be around, just because
absolutely
you already have the right relationships, you've already got like the right product, and I don't know. I would say at least 9 out of 10 of my buyers are looking for things like that. So the more you can do it, the better.
Your words to God's ears.
Okay. But it's true.
Seriously.
It's true.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you for having us. This has been
Thanks
great.
for coming on.
It's been an honor and a pleasure.
An honor.
Really appreciate it.
Do you guys have a favorite charity? We do a small donation in your honor.
We used to be on the board of an organization called Child Help for neglected and abused children.
Okay. Virginia-based, and they also have locations in California. That would be wonderful. We still do work when we can. That's wonderful. Thank you.
And then, the mostashari.org is always.
Most Ashari Family Foundation. Yeah.
That's just
for college tuition.
Thank you, guys.
529 plan.
Oh, goodness.
Thank you, guys.
Great.
Thanks for listening to Keyed In with your hosts, Max and Brent, unlocking the minds of the industry's top real estate professionals. For more information on selling your home, find us online at KeyedInPodcast.com. Remember to subscribe to Keyed In on Apple Podcasts or wherever you like to listen to podcasts. Follow us on Instagram at Keyed In Podcast, at Rabin Max, and at Brent E. Jackson. And follow Max on TikTok at MaxwellRabin_properties.